What's up, guys?
We're back.
We're
We're
back.
back.
Wait, did we miss a week? We missed last week.
Well, kinda. Like we recorded together, kinda last week.
Oh yeah,
Not for our,
we
not
did.
for our normal
Kind
audience.
Yeah,
kind of, but didn't.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot has happened since the last time we saw you guys. Not you two, but the audience. Yeah, a lot has happened. So we went out to. Are we just jumping into it? No. What's up, everybody? This is the PR project.
Yeah, a lot has happened. So
What?
we went
Oh,
out
I'm
to.
live. That's me.
Are we just jumping into it? No.
That's
What's up,
great.
everybody? Come on,
The
tighten
the
up, man.
delay is
Tighten up,
crazy.
man. Come on.
We'll
Yeah,
we'll fix
crazy.
it in post.
There you go.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix that in post.
Yeah.
But yeah, so welcome to the PR project, everybody. This is Tommy Runs. We got Aaron Worldwide, and we got Gary is a runner. Those are our Instagram names, not our birth names. Go follow us, do all that cool stuff. But yeah, if you are watching and you ran today, I haven't run since. Well, I ran the shakeout run that we did in Eugene, but I've only run once since London. So I'm itching to get back to work. I'm itching to get back on the streets. Um,
Street
how you
star.
guys doing? You guys ran today, right? No, Gary, you didn't run, did you?
No, I might
I
take
ran
another
today.
week.
You ran today?
Yeah, I ran today.
You've been running for a bit though.
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
back at it
You
for.
running. You running though.
Maybe.
I mean, come on. Look, let's not bury the lead here, Aaron. Didn't you do like a workout today?
Yeah, but it wasn't like just a workout, just some mild repeats, nothing crazy.
Oh, okay. All
Look
right.
at your mom saying what up though. She too cool.
Wow, that is
Too
crazy.
cool,
What
bro.
up though? Wow, you need to chill out. That's what I know. this is you getting
what
out
up,
of
though?
hand. What up though? But yeah. So that's cool though. I can't wait to get back. Like I was thinking about it. So what's the longest? You haven't had like a. Let's not. I won't even say that out loud. But Gary and Aaron, what's the longest you've gone without running? Like since you really started running. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. That's
Gary's like
20 years.
approximately 20 years and 6 days. That's a good question, isn't it? Well, I mean, for you, Aaron, it can't be very long. 2 weeks
No.
after one of those
I don't even think it was
marathons,
a full 2 weeks.
like in the beginning. Oh yeah, you always did the double. You ever since you started marathon, you did the
Since
double.
2017, since the end of like the late 2017, I haven't went more than 13 days straight without running.
So 13 days is the most,
Yeah.
technically. What about you,
Right.
Gary? About the same?
I think so. Yeah, I think after Chicago last year, I took quite a bit of time off,
Yeah.
and then after, I think when I got injured, when I was trying to train for Boston a couple years ago, I got that runner's knee. But I
Mhm.
kept trying it out, so it wasn't like I was running regularly. I just
Yeah.
feel a bit better, go out, feel bad again. But I think I'm going to take the full 2 weeks for
This
this one.
time.
Yeah.
So when is that? When does your re-entry into the atmosphere come?
The 20th.
Like you got one more
right?
week?
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, I want to get this out the way really soon. Yeah, if you're watching the show, I advise you, for if you're ever just listening to the show for whatever reason, you can always tap in and watch us. Really quick, I just want to say this. Really, I'll get this out the way. It's kind of a weird thing to call it a PR alert, because apparently this person ran a marathon for the first time. This guy Malik says, "Hey guys," casually just comes on the PR project just to say hello. But we have to say, Malik just dropped his first marathon, a 251 in some change. First marathon ever. Well, he ran a marathon distance, it was like unsanctioned around the neighborhood,
Like
which
a
is
crazy person.
like a true crazy runner person, and then just dropped the 251 in, where is that?
Cincinnati.
Flying Pig in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, and it's 300 plus feet of elevation gain for like the first 7-8 miles. So it's like you're just climbing for 7-8 miles, 7-8 miles and that's when normally people lose their whole race. pretty much. Like that's when you go out too fast. Congratulations, Malik.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
Ring
amazing.
the bell for him. Not only did he voluntarily go to Ohio, he went there and cooked like crazy. So big shout out.
Yeah, if you're gonna voluntarily go to Ohio, you got to go put up some numbers.
Yeah, and if you check out Malik's Strava, he ran a solid race today. It was, pretty steady. Kept his pace as best he could with the hills and whatnot for most of the race. It was impressive.
Yeah. Man, craziness. Yeah, big shout out, big congrats. Like I'm like first marathon. That's crazy. All right, good job.
Congrats.
I had to get out the way. Had to get that out the way. And then obviously too, if you're listening and you ran a race, heads up, you can always tap in right now and let us know that you ran a race and you got a PR. We will definitely ring the bell for you. But if you run a PR in the future and you're like, oh man, I want a shout out, jump over. We will give you a shout out for sure, because PRs, whether it's 1 second or 15 minutes, it's the fastest time you've ever run that distance in your whole life. So it's definitely worth a shout out. All right. Now that that's out the way, what in the world have we been doing? I'll drop it right here. Eugene Marathon. Last year we did Motown to Tracktown. These two crazy guys went out there and ran the marathon, and I sat back as a spectator and just enjoyed the process. But Eugene invited us out to do that, so that was really cool. We had a really great time. We made some content and stuff like that last year. What was your favorite part about last year?
It's a good question.
Gary, your favorite part was when that guy was sipping that coffee all weird.
The slurp.
The surfer guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, Aaron, you needed to be there. Though. It's a whole art form, like wine. What do they call them?
Like wine tasting.
Sommeliers,
yeah.
They have a name for that, but I think it's a coffee for coffees or something like that.
Yeah. I remember the fact that he was impressed that we both picked out the decaf.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. He was very impressed that we could sniff out.
He knew. He didn't realize he was dealing with some hardcore addicts. He was like,
oh, okay.
You're a sicko as well.
Yeah. You go to sleep with coffee beans under your pillow too, eh? But yeah, no, that was really cool. And you didn't get to go to the football game, did you, last year?
No, I didn't. Did any of us?
No, remember we got the can. Remember we got the cans and we didn't even go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So if you ever go to Eugene Marathon, if you get a canned good, you can go to what's the team? What is it the
University of Oregon?
Yeah. So it's
their spring game. They play a scrimmage game against each other.
Yeah. The new Big Ten team.
Ooh. Man, so I started to jump all over the place, but I'll never forget the way you said, Aaron, when we were trying to chase down Gary. We were riding past the stadium, and we turned that corner, and it was just like right there, and you were like, "Man, bro, this is damn near a shrine." And I just looked over, I'm like, "Yep." Like it's just like so prominent. It's like right there. So many great things have happened in that stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
I just think back. I'm just like. At any other point in like human history, if you had a building that like prominent and just like all of that, it's a shrine to something, it's like it's not just regular stuff. Like, that's not just something regular. Like,
and it also seems like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like other college stadiums, they're like near the campus or something. This seemed like just out in the field.
It can kind of get like lost in like it's all these other buildings around it. Like you literally come around, even when you're driving down that street, it's like trees, and all of a sudden it just opens up and it's like the stadium. And it's really it's kind of like it's like simple but like really like pretty looking. Like it's like a crazy. It's a strange. I have it in one of my videos, but it's crazy. But yeah, so make sure if you go out there for the Eugene Marathon, you can go to the game with one canned good. The admission is just a canned good, or you pay, I guess. But who would do that when you could donate a canned good for a good cause? Anyway, so we're getting a little too far down that road, but so Eugene invited us back out, but one of our things was, we've been doing more. We did the TRE, we did. Um, we've been pushing more towards like doing events and working with brands and working and using our voices in these spaces, because just let's just be real, like there's not a bunch of us like talking, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to like from a media standpoint. So we just been pushing in that direction. We're like, hey, if we come back, we don't have to run. We should be a part of the thing. And of course they jump right at it, and they set up a super dope living room space for us.
Yeah, that was so cool. That
Yeah.
was like it was almost unreal when we first saw it. It's just like, wow, like this is where we're gonna be at. Like this is gonna be our thing. Like this is crazy.
And it felt like it matched, because when they said like like a living room area, and I couldn't picture it. Like I kind of pictured like something a little different, and but the way that it happened was like perfect. They had some really like 4 really nice chairs for us. We'd have one guest up there every 15 minutes, and it was so perfect for us. Like
Yeah.
the TRE set was really cool, and it was like kind of like in your face, but this literally, if we had a set, this would be our set. Like it was like this would be our thing, because we're like chill, like laid back. Aaron kicked his shoes off. Aaron kicked his shoes off each day. Trying to like being super casual in the living room vibe. But it was awesome. We had 8 guests per day, I believe, 6 to 8 guests per day.
Yeah.
We were in outside of the expo 2 hours each, and we couldn't have asked for 2 better days.
No, I mean, I think we just kept talking about it the rest of the trip, like how awesome all the guests were, how unique their stories were, how much fun they were. Like every one of them was game to get on and talk and have a good chat.
Yeah.
I would love to keep continuing to do stuff like that over and over again. That was just a really fun time.
Yeah, and it was really cool to hear Becky say that, now that we've been there 2 years, we're lifers. So hopefully, we'll continue to be invited to talk, and things will only get bigger and better from here, because it was a novel idea, and I really appreciate like the team for trusting us to do something like that inside the expo, because that's not like something normal that you would see in a race expo. So just them giving us the freedom to kind of do it the way we wanted to do it, and just trusting us to like handle everything was super cool. And yeah, it was awesome experience. I really do hope that we get to do it more.
Yeah, no, it was it definitely was one of those experiences that like it kind of like it reaffirms like it confirms that what we're doing is right, and we're going in a direction that we can still be ourselves in, like, 'cause that's like when people talk about like being invited versus being like included, like I forgot like the word, like just the difference between just like, oh yeah, you can come, versus like, hey, like this is like literally built for us. Like that's one of those things where it's like we can come to this space and really lean into like who we are, as opposed to like having to like flex and change and kind of fit into the mold or whatever, because that just seemed like too comfortable. Like it was just like, this is it. This is like, can we take these chairs with us? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, big shout out to Becky and the whole team who helped put that together, and like Aaron said, trusted us, because that was just wild. And we had some good stories though, man. We had some
real good stories. We had some good energy. It was just they booked great guests. And like you guys said, the guests were game. Like they weren't like too cool for school. They weren't like, oh, I'm not gonna share. Like they were transparent. We asked them like some serious questions. We asked them some funny questions, and they were just down for whatever. And I think we met a lot of really cool people. And I think Eugene does a really good job of outreach when it comes to like runners and running personalities and running influencers and things like that. Like they picked a nice eclectic mix of runners, some like that were shooting for stuff like really serious, some that were not as serious but still important to them. So I think it went really well, and I think it was a good representation of what the Eugene Marathon is really like trying to cultivate, because they're doing it a little different than any other race out there, to be honest. Like the way they do it, like the way they do social media, the way they do their weekend, like they're world class. They're really and it shows in the turnout, you know, a sold out marathon this year. You know, a bunch of people up there on the track and everything. It's just they're doing it right. Big salute to them.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to make it a destination marathon, and you know, I couldn't recommend it enough just for the atmosphere alone. It's a I think I call it like a technically challenging course. It's not super easy, but it's not super hard. But you can definitely PR there if you're looking to PR there. So, but the atmosphere itself is well worth the trip to the West Coast for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like Aaron said, like it's so much different. Like it's like they're taking chances, like a big marathon, you know. But they're not. It still has that very small, like tight family feeling. And like, cause it's like a weird dynamic though. Like, cause normally you pull up to a race with that many people, or I guess that few people in comparison to like a big race, then you feel like, oh, we're at a small, you know, it's just grab your bib and get moving. You know, like there's races here that whose expo is very just like get the bib, maybe pass by like a nutrition tent, you know, or whatever, and then you're just on your way. There's nothing, there's no experience. Which I mean, more marathons and just even like turkey trot, for instance, here, like turkey trot here is. I mean, I don't even know how many people show up, but it's a big number. Like a lot of people run the turkey trot from all the distances, and it kind of blows my mind that like the expo is just like it's you just come, you get your bib, you turn around and walk out, like, and there's like a blow up like turkey thing or whatever, you know, and it just seems like a wasted moment, you know, like when you could kind of give back to the people that are spend their time and money and energy to be there and support the race every year. And Eugene just does a really good job of like leaning into that because they had like Allie on the run there, which is a big deal, you know, in the
Right.
run space. Like she's not, I mean, not trying to count her pockets and nothing like that, but I know it's not like it ain't cheap for it to get her out there, you know, because she's in very high demand right now too. And for her to have the big stage with an author that just dropped a book and do book signings and all that, that's like top tier like race type of energy, you know. Like Allie just did a show at in London or but in Boston, same type of show, and that you would expect that out of Boston, but not like a you know a small city race. So anyway, hats off to Eugene. I just can't say enough about him. Obviously.
Agreed.
Yeah, and my mom said maybe live stream next time. So we kind of like thought about the live stream. TRE, I feel like was a different energy because like that was like the main cause was to share what was happening there. And for some reason with like the living room energy, like I felt like it was one of those like you got to be here, you know, and it's 2 hours each day. So I mean, it would just be a long live stream.
Right.
Maybe maybe some point we'll do something like it, maybe a little shorter, maybe have one special guest and sit down with them for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. But it just seemed like it
Well,
was
because
nice
yeah,
to like right there.
I think there's opportunity to share those types of events with a future announcement later today. You know, so there's definitely different ideas to make sure more people can hear and see what we're doing.
I love that foreshadowing, Gary. Great job.
Okay.
It's almost like you know what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Did everybody slow down? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Nah,
No,
well, Tommy
I was
did.
breaking up a little bit, but yeah. Well, here we go. But yeah, no, yeah, definitely with the announcement that we have coming up. Is it me?
No, yeah, it's you for sure. Because I can see Gary and hear Gary. Just well, he's not saying anything, but I can hear him just fine. But anyway, but yeah, Eugene, all of that good stuff. Yeah, great weekend. I think my favorite, well, not my favorite part, but one of my more fond memories will be I'm not used to standing at a marathon start line and watching the entire race go past me. You know, usually we're up at the front, or there's been times where I'm kind of mid pack, but I've never just sat at the start line and watched the entire race go past me. And it's like you get to really experience like every different like experience, if you will. Because I mean, and they send off the marathoners and the half marathoners at the same time, so you see just a range of ages, paces, sizes, shapes, ethnicities, everything. Like you just see the entire gamut of what this race has to offer, and you see everybody just kind of beaming with this excitement of like, I'm gonna attack this goal today. I'm taking on this challenge today. And you see the like super confident people. You see the people that might be a little more nervous. You see the people that's probably gonna walk a lot of it. You see the people that's just gonna try to run the fastest that they've ever run. And it's just it was really interesting to see the entire. I don't know why that just like kind of like left a real memory in my mind. It was just like, okay, this is every one of these people. Every single one of these people has a story that got them to this starting line. And they're just adding on to this story today, or, you know, that day. They're just adding on to that story. And some people will remember it fondly. Some people will have their heart broken like I did last year, you know, and it's just, it's crazy. Like the human experience on race day is something to behold because like I said, everybody's there for their own reasons. And it's just, you see all these people and it's just a culmination of everything that they needed to get to the starting line. So that was really cool too.
Yeah, no, I never even did that. Yeah, I've not done it before. That's I'd like to experience something like that for sure.
Yeah, because Gary, you always got to run the race. You know, like if you just chill out, you be fine.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Well, since you failed terribly at doing it this time, let's talk about Gary's race. So Gary, you know, you ran Boston 2 weeks before, 2 weeks before Eugene, and didn't have the race that you wanted to in Boston. Definitely some factors involved in that. You decided to come back 2 weeks later and run Eugene. Talk to us about like that process and why you did it, why you picked Eugene, and then, you know, all that.
Well, I did it because I felt like I had more left in the tank following Boston. You know, I felt like I did all this training. I couldn't fathom the idea of just leaving it at the way it was with the 312 with the hot sun and having to like start all over a brand new training block. And we were already going to be in Eugene anyway. So it lined up pretty well for me to do this bonus marathon on a course I was already familiar with you know, with you guys being there. So it wasn't like we were doing work. Don't get me wrong. Like it was a lot to do, but it wasn't going to be overwhelming where I was going to be rushing around everywhere in a big city. So we had things to do, but I had time to rest, keep my legs fresh. And so I thought, let's give it a shot. Let's use what I have left to try and hit this goal of 250 or faster. With all that being said, once the race began, I quickly realized that, you know what, my legs aren't as fresh as I had thought they were going to be. But leave me alone, Nicholas.
Yeah, he's trolling you, bro. He's trolling
like,
you.
I knew when you left.
He said, "I told you he was looking. I told you he was looking a little wobbly."
Dad, I said you look pretty tired. No, but it was a fun race for me in the sense that I knew I wasn't going to get my goal, and then I thought, well, at least let me try to hit sub 3. And I fought as hard as I could for it, and I was actually pretty proud of this race because, you know, when you hit the wall, sometimes you just shuffle in and you just want to finish. For me, when I hit the wall, I still kept pushing, using little mind tricks like, let's search for 30 seconds, let's get to the next mile, let's get to that lamppost, just to keep pushing as hard as I could. Even when the sub 3, you know, slipped, I thought, well, let's just finish hard. Let's finish, you know, let's make it all this worth it. Let's make the second marathon. Let's leave it all out on the field, so to speak, onto the Hayward field, so to speak.
Yeah.
And leave with no regrets. And that's kind of how I ran that race, was just to empty the tank.
So when at what point, like, I mean, I know it's not like a race that you didn't do what you wanted to do.
Mhm.
In my opinion, you still ran well. I mean, obviously, no one wants to hear that after they were going after a better number and they didn't get it. But like you said, you didn't just you didn't just give up and write it in or whatever or stop or all that stuff. What point did you know that, like, okay, let's re let's adjust everything, like, because I know that there's maybe a point where you kind of think it to yourself and you're like, oh, is this the day or not? But then there's like a moment where you're like, okay, now is the time when I have to either decide to bonk all the way or just try to shift.
It was after the first 10.
Okay.
So I discussed doing the 10-10-10 strategy. And for the first 10 miles, I held pretty firm to that, a little bit slower than goal pace. And then around mile 10, I tried to pick it up down to goal pace, and I realized it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. So I just kind of resigned myself to saying, stick here. It's fine.
Mm.
You're not going to get 250, but if you stick here, you'll get sub 3, and it'll be a good day. And so I just didn't have the energy to go much faster. Hey, buddy. Hey, sorry. Nicholas is
Hey,
here.
buddy.
Hey, Nicholas.
Right.
Hey, who is all on here? Who are you? Why is my dad talking to a
He's
computer?
really concentrated, like, because you guys are
We're
so small on the
small.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought let's just stick to the 1040 or 640, excuse me, and just go with it. Like, don't try to push it. You don't have it, but let's try to make the most out of it. And so right after mile 10, I realized it's going to be instead of 10-10-10, let's try for 20-10. stick for here as long as you get for 20 miles, and then try to race it in for the last 10K, which didn't work either. But that was kind of when I knew I had to make some adjustments.
Yeah. When we saw you, we were trying to catch up to you for so long. Like, it seemed like it just was impossible. Every time we thought we were gonna, like, catch up to, we had bikes too. You was on bikes. Every time we try to catch up to you, like, somehow we get stopped by the chorus because it would, like, bottleneck or, like, come to a trail and we didn't want to interrupt anybody's race. Like, we there you know, for fun and trying to see you, but then we didn't want to, like, get in people's way with bikes or on these trails and stuff like that. But we finally we were getting close to you. I don't even know what part of the story I'm telling here, but it was fun riding the bikes on the trail. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
No, it was cool seeing you guys there. It was nice.
Oh,
There,
when we saw you, you looked good when we saw you, and I don't even know what mile point that was. It was before the marching band.
It was around like
I want to say
15, 15,
15,
16,
16,
something
I
like
think.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you looked pretty solid there. Like, I mean, you look like you were controlled and moving. But, like, honestly, like, I mean, I know it's really it's tough to do a turnaround like 2 weeks. You think that's like, I think, I mean, I want to argue and say like 1 week is probably better, because
Right.
like you just keep going, like you just recover enough and just go back. But I think that, like, because how sometimes, Aaron, sometimes, like, 2 weeks later, if you take 2 weeks off from running, period, after a marathon, like, that first run back is really
Oh, it's
tough. Like,
over. It's over. 2 weeks.
yeah,
If you take 2 weeks off, then yeah, no, it's impossible.
but I
But if
think
you
that
wait
like,
2 weeks, if you run 2 weeks later and you
yeah,
take 3 or 4 days off and then you get back to it, that probably would be a little more in the sweet spot.
like, yeah, I think you need to, like, run. I think for me, I could imagine, like, I think you need to run that, like, third day that you're back, like, after a week ago running, like, you need to run again, like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that the time it takes for, like, that whole week of you running, the nerves settling in, your legs are reminding you every day, like, this ain't it. Like, it's almost like you got to rip the Band-Aid off and go again. But, like, it's a tough process to do anyway. But I like, and you finish. I just like that you finished the race strong. 304.
3.
303. My
303.
bad.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad. 303.
I
I
mean,
mean,
who's counting?
303. Yeah, 303 after 312, 314 in Boston. 214 days later ain't bad at all. And Eugene isn't necessarily like the easiest course in the world.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't even know what it is because I haven't run the course yet. I think I'm gonna try to run next year. But what is it about the course that's challenging?
I think the beginning of it is a lot hillier than what I remembered. You know, the first
Mm,
8 to 9 miles, there's some rollers in there, and there's a couple good, really solid rollers around mile 4, hills, excuse me, hills at mile 4, and then mile 8. 8 is the hill of the course.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those it's like stair type hills that goes on for quite a bit. And then after that, it's
okay.
fairly flat. So when they
Yeah.
talk about the flat, it's post 8 miles, but it's very crowded and it's very rolling for the first 8 miles.
And then it gets really sparse on that. Like once you go over that bridge and like through like the neighborhoods and stuff, it gets a little lonely. Like once you get past that part,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard. Like once you get on the trail, it's like okay, let's try to pick it up. But I don't know. It's just something about the way that trail kind of weaves through, and you going around, and you do that out, and you come
Mhm.
back, and then you go by the stadium, and then and then you go down by the water, and it's just like it's a lot of stimulation, like just visual stimulation. Um, and yeah, it gets lonely, but then you start to realize like, okay, I'm getting close to the stadium, and then your mind starts playing tricks on you because you're like, I should see the torch, like I should see the torch to the stadium by now, and you really don't see it until you come up that hill. It's like a little baby hill when you coming up over. I think that's
Whether
Franklin.
you talking about that lady was tripping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really don't see the torch until you kind of emerge from there. And then it's like, okay, there's the torch. I've only got a little bit, but then you realize you're still probably like 3/4 of a mile away. And it's just like, all
Yeah.
right, push.
Yeah, and you would think that like when you said like I'm gonna run Eugene and you come and you see like you see the torch, you see the stadium, you're like, oh great. Like in your mind, I don't think you say it, but in your mind, you know, like I should be able to see this.
Yeah.
Like 2
Yeah.
miles away, you know,
Yeah.
or at least a mile away. But you
Yeah.
really can't see it until you're on that main street, you
Yeah.
know, where we were standing. We saw you, Gary, with it to right before the end.
That's pretty
That's
much where
the
you
first
see
time
it. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
first time you really
Once
see
you like how they were kind of emerging from down that
Mhm.
little once you crest that's when you see it for the first time.
And you can see it where that lady was like wilding out like about like us not crossing the race path. You can
Yeah.
see it there, but it was so much going on that in your
Yeah.
running, I know for sure as a runner, you're
It's
not like
3 different lanes of runners, so you just trying to
yeah,
figure out like,
you just,
okay, which way do
yeah.
I go?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I don't know if you remember this, Aaron, but once you do see it, it's your whole sense of direction is off. Because I didn't expect to see it like running up the street. I expected to see it off to the side first in that mile, like off in the
yeah,
distance. And then you see it
Yeah.
straight ahead. I'm like,
it's literally straight ahead.
where the hell am I?
It's like I'm near the stadium, but I don't know where I am. Like it doesn't even matter where you are, just run straight. But you're like, what is happening? Like
Yeah.
even honestly, it's a really weird concept because I only ran the 5K last year, and it has the same effect where it's like you go out and you go around and you only run a big square, but then like by the time you see it again, it's like how are we like you see it like how are we getting here? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a weird I don't know how to explain it. And once you said it, I do remember being confused. Like, how can't I see this? It's only a 3 mile square. How am I not seeing this big building?
And that's kind of like the entire feeling of the course because
yeah.
you go through that first like 3 or 4 miles and it's like very like in the neighborhoods and like you'll see schools and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
But then like you go out and around this loop that kind of climbs and then you go down, but it's like trees everywhere. So it's almost like I'm in the forest now.
Yeah.
And I'm not that far away from where I started. And then you go
Yeah.
back into the city and then you go into this industrial like lumber area where it, like it's lumber yards on both sides.
You literally cut through a parking lot as part of the course. Like
Yeah.
remember that? There's a parking lot, like there's an ice cream stand in the corner, and you cut between the ice cream stand and whatever industrial things going on through the parking lot, like right at mile 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go through this kind of downtownish, like old timey like storefront area. And
Yeah. That's where
what is
isn't that
this?
where that's where the guy told us to get off the police told us
Yeah,
to get off the street, right? Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So you go
Yeah,
through that.
it's like a ghost town. It's almost like a movie set. It's so eerily
It
quiet.
does look like it does look like a
Yeah.
movie. And
Yeah.
you would think more
It's like
people will be out like cheering,
mm-mm,
but no,
mm-mm,
all of those shops are
mm-mm.
closed, and it's
Yeah.
just like you're on your own.
One
You're
band,
right.
like
You're right. You're right.
four old guys, playing classic rock,
Yeah.
on the side of the road.
That was a strange, like, little it does look like feels like an old Western set, like,
Mhm.
because it really was nothing around it other than that, like, strip, and once you, like, ride through it, it's like you're back into, like, the park, and it's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
where did we just come from? But, like, I'm really looking forward to running next year, like, I really wanna run it, and because it sounds because it's a very beautiful course, so there's a
Absolutely.
lot of
Yeah.
really, really pretty, like, spots on that course, and I got to see it more than I did last year because we pretty much rode at least 10 miles of it, probably,
More than
or
that,
more,
probably.
more than that. And I'm like, wow, like you're riding around like, oh, this is really nice. Like it takes you, it's like, yeah, it's like if you're like it reminded me of Austin, Gary, like
Mm.
the Lady
Lady
Bird
Bird
Lake,
Trail.
trail, but yeah, man, awesome. This is a good question. My mom is keeping us on track. Gary, what shoes did you run in?
I ran in the Alpha Fly 3s, Nike Alpha Fly 3s. I used the Volt colorway for
Mm,
this race. So they were
mhm.
new shoes. I broke them in just a tiny bit.
Just for a visual, these are the
Yeah.
shoes that he wear, not these ones, but something like it. I wore
Yeah.
these for the first time on the track yesterday, the other day.
I saw that. I saw lots of folks
That was
wearing
crazy
the
that you wore
Volt.
those to cruel and unusual punishment your son. That's crazy on the track.
I mean, it's the first one. It was the first run in a minute, bro. I couldn't like go on get normal shoes. He had on vapor flies.
He should have. He was the one doing the
Uh,
work.
he tried on some racing spikes for the first time, and they were the Dragonfly or whatever the ones with the hole in the back, and they
Yeah.
were just like they were like digging into his heel.
Oh, really?
Like
You wear
yeah, he
socks?
had to take no.
Mm.
His shoe he's already outgrown shoes that you got for him three
Yeah.
months ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably what happened. We got to try again. Try again. But how'd you like him? Because you ran in the proto colorway in Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. I
How'd
think
you?
I like the. I don't know. I don't know what the difference would be, honestly, but I like the protos better. I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
I felt the tiniest hot spot on my the ball of my left big toe in the volts. So, but other than that, the shoe is fantastic. Like I don't have any complaints. They're super fast.
Mm.
They're fun to run in. I would probably continue to run in them for future races if and when they ever happen. So.
If and when they ever happen, that is the craziest way to say that. And then Mark says, "Are there a lot of places to stay in Eugene?" I don't. I think
I
that there's.
would think so.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they do so much.
there's at least
They do so
3
much.
hotels.
Like they do NCAA championships.
Worlds.
They have the infrastructure to take on
Yeah.
an influx of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
a big college. It's a big college town. So,
Sure.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot, but we saw like a couple motels and whatnot by campus.
Well,
Yeah.
there was a Gordon. There's a Gordon. Yeah, for sure. There's a Gordon Hotel across the street from the Graduate. If you do go to run the Eugene Marathon, I would try to stay at the Graduate because like it's like central to everything. Like that's where you want to be because like
Tommy, do you remember where we stayed when we went to Worlds?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's a lot. It's a few hotels over there too.
A bunch actually.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole strip of hotels, and it wasn't too. It's a weird place, like where like it doesn't. Everything feels different every time you go. Like, did this move? Like, so there's a bunch, and even on that strip where where the pizza place was, there's a whole bunch of hotels over there. Yeah, there's so many hotels. I just thought about it. There's so many hotels, different price ranges, different vibes. There's Airbnbs like crazy. Like, it's like Aaron said, it's like, it's a big college, but then it's also, they just had Worlds there 2 years ago. and Worlds brings too many people from all over the world to this one
And
spot.
they do the NCAA track and field championship every year.
The
Yeah,
Olympic
it's huge.
trials are coming. They,
Yeah.
the
Olympic trials
U.S.
gonna be
Olympic trials. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yes, lots of places to stay, Mark. Yeah. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions about anything, let us know. Drop it in the
And you
comments.
probably could find, if you're into like weird Airbnbs, I'm sure
Yeah.
there are
Bro.
very
Actually, when you
there's
bring
an
it up,
abundance.
I did see a lot of folks who were there, like the Alley Fellers of the world. They were staying in like unique hotels, along the river or just outside of town. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's no shortage of eccentric, very quirky people. I had a Uber driver who she was a beekeeper, and her name was Honeybee. Forget her name, but it was Honeybee something, and she told us this whole story about how she hates to see people with these perfectly manicured lawns because it leaves no places for the bees to it leaves no wildflowers and stuff like that. It was a very interesting conversation, and like I said, there's no shortage of those kind of people out in Eugene.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's that's why I don't get rid of my weeds. That's the only reason why. But
So if you
yeah,
if you want to stay with a cat lady in an Airbnb, I'm sure it's plenty of them in Eugene.
yeah, with them. Yeah, she stays
With
there. So one time, On had a house that got an Airbnb that was like, you remember, like there's those areas that got those really steep hills, like almost like
Yeah.
vertical, like it's almost like straight up. They had an Airbnb up there, and all those houses have the best view of Hayward and everything. It's crazy up there, and it's not like they're super expensive. I mean, this is a smaller town too. It's not like they're just like super taxing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe next time we go, we say forget it. We stay, we get an Airbnb with a good view and chill out for the weekend. That'd be dope. We'll see how that. Well, I like the Graduate. The Graduate is where to be.
I like the Graduate. I like
you just
being in
come
the
downstairs.
hotel and just being able to go downstairs and like see the expo and do all that stuff. So the
Yeah,
Graduate is
the Graduate is where the expo is if you're gonna join that race anytime soon. But yeah, next thing we have to talk about is Aaron. Talk to us, man, about this whole situation that you found yourself in. So we got these cool bottles, these cool water bottles. It's from Water.io. It's this bottle right here, and it tells you it lights up and tells you if you're behind in your hydration for the day. It's a really cool concept, and I like it. And I've been hydrated like crazy. And Aaron lost his within 3 days.
So I'm gonna blame Tommy first and foremost because I wasn't prepared to even be responsible for this bottle. It's almost like somebody just came up to me and was like, "This your kid here," and it's like I didn't even know I had kids. So I text them, yes, I hope this bottle. I think I said it out loud on the plane. I hope this bottle makes it back to Detroit, and it didn't. It didn't. I'm not used to carrying around a water bottle.
Yeah. Well, I left mine in Voodoo Donuts and had to go back and get it like after day one because I'm not used to
I'm not a Stanley Cup girl.
Yeah.
Cup girlies, they stay attached to their bottle. I'm not used to
it. Yeah. My daughter literally I haven't seen her without her Stanley in a while.
I go to the gym and girls are in there with not just girls, women too, are in there with three water bottles, and I'm just like, it's a bit excessive. Why do you need that many?
Did you ask?
Of course not. I would never.
Yeah, one for water, right? One for water, one for maybe electrolytes, and then one for protein.
For an orange juice.
Maybe one for water, one for coffee.
Coffee, water, coffee. Yeah, iced coffee, a protein smoothie, and water.
Or maybe just all three water, and she just drink a very specific kind of water.
Yeah. Or it's like a some people have to wash their hands a certain amount of times before they can leave the bathroom. It may be one of those I have to have 3 sip.
Could be.
Yeah.
I have to have my water bottles at consistent water level.
Yeah. Oh, imagine you having to like make sure that it's all good. Anyway, but yeah, so these water bottles are really cool. It comes with an app. Um, and it's been helping me like a lot. Like I've never been this hydrated before. Gary,
Yeah,
how are you
no,
doing over
same.
there?
Same. I've been the same way. I'm only missed 2 days, by the way, in terms of like because they tell you like what your
Hold on,
percentage is.
Steve. You're gonna get booted. I'm not even a really big fan of Red Wings, but this is
Jeez.
unnecessary. This is
Jeez.
unnecessary, Steve. It's Sunday night. All right, it's just Sabbath, whatever. It's the day of the Lord. Chill out.
Jeez.
But yeah, man, the app, like I've been nailing it. One day, Gary, I was having this long conversation with my daughter because sometimes you gotta have those conversations that last too long, and it's mainly just you talking and trying to figure out how you can stop talking, but you just keep going because you have so many great points to talk about, right?
Sure.
I looked up, and it was 12:03,
Mm. and
I had missed my goal by like 5 ounces, and I was so upset with her. This is her fault. It's her fault that I missed my goal. But really, it's really cool. Like they're not paying us or anything like that. But I'm really happy with this addition to my daily life because I'm so bad at drinking water. I was so bad at drinking water before. Like it
Yeah.
gamifies it. It gamifies it for me, and
Yeah,
I like it.
exactly. That's the word I was going to use. It's a game now, and the only time I missed it twice, but the second time I did not want to get out of bed. I finished it. I had like 5 ounces to go. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to be fine. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and
Your body can't decipher 5 ounces, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Based on what this bottle says, you could probably keel over any moment if you don't get that 5 ounces. But so Gary had it programmed to his Strava.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
app links to your Strava, and he went from like 72 ounces.
100, doubled it.
It went from
100.
72 ounces to
147. I think
getting
he was at 147. I think that was
Yeah.
the most I heard you
yeah
say.
Yeah.
ran the marathon, and it updates because like if you drink coffee and you put your like coffee intake in there or tea or whatever, it changes. Or you put like sports activities like running. He ran a marathon. He says he needed 147 ounces that day. What'd you get to 90?
97, high
Did you
90s.
did you sleep at all that day, or did you just stay in the bathroom that night?
He slept on the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah. Megan was nice enough to put like a pillow and a blanket there.
Laying on the counter. Oh my
That
god.
actually, but now that I think of it, that kind of like highlights how much we probably are underhydrating on race
Oh,
day.
for sure.
Because it's saying that you need more than 2 gallons of water. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I didn't even think about that.
Right.
But I know for sure. But it tells me just period, like how underhydrated I am every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm if I told you like what I've realized within this process, you'd probably be like, how have you done any of the things that you've done? I've gone a whole day without drinking water.
I will say
Like
the one thing it doesn't
coffee
the
doesn't
one
count. Coffee actually makes it worse.
coffee. Well, it does. It adds to the hydration. Like it says, it adds to your hydration level, but then it also says, but because of that, you need to drink more. But I think the one thing I'd like for it to do, and maybe they'll develop it more, is it doesn't add in electrolytes. It's just strictly hydration. So
Yeah.
but it's a
Yeah. Like
it's a
if
lot
there
of
was like
fun.
a hydration.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is, and my mom says it's expensive. It is expensive. Well, I guess how much is a Stanley, Aaron?
I think they were retail like $39.99, $49.99, something like that.
Well, this got this one beat. It's got Stanley beat. So I think it's $99.99. I think it's $100. But yeah, like so, like if you are a bottle person, like if you're not and you're not gonna want to carry around a bottle, then it's a lot of money to spend on a bottle. But I think you're paying for the tech, really. You know what I mean? There's nothing special about the bottle. I mean, it does keep it pretty cold, I guess, if you like cold water, but I don't. But it feels like it's one of those things, and it charges up from the top. It feels like one of those things that like you wouldn't have to, if as long as you don't lose it, you can have it for as long as you want. Like I think you'll get your $100 worth for sure. But the app is really cool, and that's really I think what you're paying for in general.
For sure. And it's not like it's a subscription or anything like that. So it's
Oh
upfront
yeah,
investment, and then that's all
yeah.
you have to pay. So
Yeah.
Because they sure could be like, well, if you want to have this on there, like there's no add-ons, which is dope. I didn't think about that. I'd have been pissed if I got it and was like, whatever.
to
Um,
unlock your hydration needs,
Right. Right.
please pay us $4.99 a month.
But they'll
if
let
you're
you add
planning on
in.
drinking anything over 10 ounces, they'll let you add in what?
I'm saying they'll let you add in. If you drink out of a bottle or whatever too, so you can add in water. So the app's the main thing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the bottle. I like having the little lights go off whenever I drink it.
He likes the
All right,
blinky blinky.
we-
See, I'm behind. You see it?
I think Tommy is freezing up. So while he's freezing up, I will pull up
Yeah,
because
for
we
sure.
don't want to miss this. Shout out to Steve who made the inappropriate Stanley Cup joke. He said he ran a 1 minute and 45-second PR in the half at Toledo last week, which is Glass City Marathon. And from what I hear, the conditions weren't ideal. So to come home with a 1 minute and 45-second PR in a half marathon, that's a big deal. So shout out to Steve. We love to hear it. Steve seems to be always in the chat when we're streaming. So we appreciate the support, and it's cool to hear you got a PR. Big shout out.
Congrats, Steve. Good work. Good work. Yeah, because I heard it was muggy and humid and rainy and gross and all the things. So
Oh, was it? It was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was the story from Glass City, that it wasn't amazing from Mother Nature standpoint.
Normally, it's really good. Normally that day, they always seem to luck
yeah,
out
yeah.
with weather.
Yeah, but you never know in the Midwest, it could get real nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Boston's only had 2 nice days this whole spring. One of them was race day, and the other one was like last week. This past one day this past week. I was like, oh sweet. Good for you guys.
Yeah, I was talking to some people. They said that there wasn't going to be sun for like 12 days. It was just going to be gloomy and muggy, which is terrible. But
yeah, because if the sun is not going to be out, at least don't make it muggy. Trash.
Right.
That's trash.
Right. That's super trash. All right. So special announcement time. Here we go. All right. So we've done this show for a little bit now, and
73
we
episodes.
really 73 episodes but who's counting? We have a lot of fun. The show started off very visual. We used to do a lot more like shoe reviews and things like that, which we will continue to do as we get shoes. But I think we're good enough to kind of spin it and make sure that another type of platform could also enjoy the show. We are officially announcing that we will be going and starting the PR Project podcast. So for those of you that tap in live, we will still be doing a show live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. And if we have to change, obviously, we will let you guys know based on like timing and stuff like that. But we will also every show will be recorded for the podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple and iHeartRadio, blah, blah, blah. So then now people can actually join in and listen to the show on their runs, because right now you really can't unless you just like have YouTube playing in the background on your headphones. But this is now going to be on a podcast platform, so you can find. I think right now it's just getting going, but in the next few days we'll stay tuned to our Instagram. We will be announcing it and all the links and stuff like that. But I think you can find it on Spotify right now. It's the PR Project podcast, the PR Project podcast. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe. All the episodes, we're going to drop this one, and we will also be dropping the recap for Boston, London, and Martian all in the same one. We'll be dropping that as well with today's episode. So I'm happy. I'm excited. It's a good way to reach more people. It's a good way to spread the PR Project like voice farther into the world. And it's also just a good way to make sure that the people that like you guys that are listening, if you miss, you don't have to watch it. You can just listen to it, and it's a little easier. You can do it while you're driving or on a run.
Great news.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for that. Just to kind of help get our outreach going. And Nicholas is excited. You want to show him? You excited?
What's Nicholas talking about? We got to big up the screen. He's gone. Now when you put him on the screen, he don't want to be there. Okay, I see how it is. How it is. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's probably overdue, but I think it's perfect timing for us, and especially as we build after. I think that one of the things that I saw in Eugene or experience with us is we are definitely different, than the space I think expects or is used to probably. And we want to keep leaning into that. So I'm excited about it and can't wait to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, no, I think we can do some innovative stuff in that area too. Like we discussed earlier, if we're doing a special living room show type of event, maybe we won't do those on YouTube or live stream, but we'll record them and then have them as bonus episodes later, later in the year if those opportunities come back.
Yeah, I think that'd be real cool. And like Tommy said, it gives people the opportunity to listen and tap in with us when they're running or, when they're doing something a little more passive and they don't have to be glued to their TV or their iPhone watching. So I think that does help kind of expand the brand. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. I'm a huge podcast listener, so I'll add it to my podcast.
Okay. All right. We got at least one subscription. Yeah, jump over. I think it's live right now on Spotify. I believe it's on our iHeartRadio already. Apple is one of those ones. Apple Podcasts is one of those ones that takes a little longer. Like they're even when you post an episode, it takes like 20 more minutes to like actually hit Apple than it does like all the rest of them. So just bear with us as we get onto all the rest of the pods. The name of it is below. It's the PR Project Podcast, and it's on Spotify and iHeartRadio right now. Please go subscribe, support the vibes. If you want to tell 1,000 friends, be my guest.
Yeah, share, rate, review, all the fun things.
Yes. Let them know that we are real humans and not AI.
Yeah, for sure.
If we AI, our program is a little different. I was gonna ask this of the audience random, but it's a random thing to ask. Anybody got any hot takes on anything?
Good luck, Mark, in Riverbank 25K next weekend.
I want to run that one day.
I got a hot take. The Riverbank 25K is underrated.
It is. I think that it's a USA. Usually, it's a USATF 25K race. I've never run it. Championship. I hear the course is not. I think it's kind of it's not easy, but it's not hard from what I understand. But it's huge, right? It's a pretty decent size race.
I don't know about numbers, but I do know it's important. Like it's an important race of the year for like the pros. So it's almost like a mini like people pull up that I was like Leonard Career, like won it last time I was there. Like it's not a random race. It's like people really come up to Michigan to run that thing.
Yeah.
And then so you get on the same course as like the pros. I mean, it's like one of those, but it's a smaller atmosphere, easier to get to, less hustle and bustle than like a big major or a big race. I think it's underrated.
It's a distance that you wouldn't normally do. 25K. That's what 14, almost 15 miles or something like that.
Yeah, 15.5. 15.5.
Yeah, it's kind of like running an 8K. You don't really know how to like gauge it. It's like you can't run like a 5K.
How many people?
How
many people like get to 13 miles and just like just die out because it's just like I ran this like a half marathon. I don't have 2 more miles left. I wonder. I wonder.
Yeah,
But I think I definitely want to run it. I think we should plan on trying to figure out how to do it next year. Not how to, but we should do it next year. That'd be fun. That's a good way to start the year off too. Like, but it's marathon season too.
that's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
you either got to like say I'm only gonna do one this year. Maybe make it a fall marathon. Use your spring session for something like this, something different. Um, but as I keep going back and forth, there's only so much time to do a
Mm.
marathon, right? You either do one a year or you do two a year, or you get a year older and you got to start all over again. And yeah,
I got another hot take. You guys want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
I say I say that summer training for a marathon is better than winter training for a
Oh,
marathon.
you mean a hot take in the literal sense?
Yeah, a steaming, summary hot take. Because for me at least, because you guys know how crazy my hands get, like how cold my hands get. I was thinking about today. My issue in a lot of the marathons is being able to hold down nutrition, like keep it down. And in the wintertime, in some of the bigger workouts, it's not it's cold. And it's sometimes we're just like, I'm not taking these gloves off to reach for this gel to try to tear it open. Like it's just like get the workout done and get to your car. And in the summertime, like that won't be a problem at all. So I feel like for me, I could practice nutrition and all that, like putting out your bottles on a car. You know what I'm saying? You can't do this stuff in the winter. I mean, you can, I guess, but
mm,
you guys are not having this.
I don't think you experience the same effects of the heat, because for me it's just like what's good, what's the good of running a workout if you just bail out of it halfway through because it's too hot? Like
Yeah.
you don't even have to think
Yeah.
about nutrition if you run a half the workout.
I would say the only benefit of summer training for a fall marathon is that hopefully if it's a hot day, like it's a weird hot November or October like you guys had in 2022 in New York, you're a little bit more acclimated to the heat versus a winter
He's not.
training and then it's too hot, like we had in Boston. Like if you run all
Mm.
summer and you get that nice cold fall day like you expect,
You're a superhero.
yeah, it's primo.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the ideal, because it's like poor man's elevation training, right? Like you're coming back down to sea level because you're used to training in 70, 80 degree weather, but then you run it and it's 40 or 50. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the best part
Mhm.
of training in the summer and racing in the fall.
yeah.
But you got to make it through the
And
training in the
nothing
summer, and that sucks.
and nothing's guaranteed. I mean, you're talking for us here in Michigan, it's not guaranteed. You figure you go to New York or New Englandish type area, you might get
Mm.
better weather.
I mean, me and Tommy trained all through the summer of 2021 just to get to Savannah and have to run through a tropical storm. So
Yeah. So I guess
nothing's
I
guaranteed.
mean, no, November's. I mean, even Savannah surely shouldn't have been a problem, but November is a little iffy. But it shouldn't have been that bad. It was really
Yeah.
bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
All
Let's get
right. So
into
we
some
got.
of these other hot takes though, because I like
Yeah, I
them.
was about to say the same
We
thing.
could talk about these things.
Yeah.
First, Sally says, hot take: T-Wolves will beat the Nuggets in this series. That's a warm take. It's not really a hot take because the Timberwolves are good. It's not like they're the same old Timberwolves, but I don't think they're gonna beat the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets will figure it out. But we're not gonna turn this into a basketball podcast. But I'm confident that the defending champs can figure it out. But this is a spicy one. New Balance ruined the Rebel.
It's pretty spicy.
Pretty spicy.
What do you think?
I'm
Do you think
not
that's true?
100%. I don't disagree 100%. I think what they turned the Rebel into doesn't seem like the original purpose of what the Rebel was. I will say that. So I don't know. They turned it into
I think it got
Cybertruck.
lost.
I don't know why they did that.
It got lost. It's too much like the super combo league.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a smaller
Yeah,
version.
it's
It's
like
like
it's the great value version of the super trainer. I mean
yeah,
the super racer, which who wants that? Who asked for that?
you're right. And I feel like that first version, well, the first version we got was like the 2, right? And it
Yeah.
was like it was almost too soft but it was quick, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That was crazy. And then the next version after that was not necessarily great.
Mm-mm.
I think that was worse than this one. The new one is better than the last one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The best one was probably that super light one that kind of had the see-through upper. That was probably
Yeah,
the best one.
white and like sherbet color or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was good. Do you like the Rebel, Gary? You're muted.
I've only had the
Gary.
one. I've only had the
Oh, okay,
one
okay.
before, so and I like it. I use it quite a bit, but I got nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So sorry, Maurice.
Okay, hold on. A6 Speed Series, Evo Ride, Magic, etc. is better than the Blast Series, Nova and Super. And I don't know about that one, Maurice. You have some interesting takes on shoes today, sir.
I don't think we've had
Uh,
the Evo ride,
but I've had the
but
Magic, but all of them.
Magic was okay. It's nothing.
Yeah,
But
the Super,
if you
the Nova,
include
the
in
Super
the
Blast.
meta, then
Which one would that be?
wait. Speed series.
Meta would
Meta
be in the Blast
speed.
Series.
Well,
Meta Speed
meta
Sky.
speed.
No, FF
Meta speed
Blast.
sky, meta
Meta Speed Sky.
speed edge. So but
Those are in the Blast
there is
Series,
no
though.
blast racer. So I think I like the blast series. I like the super blast is to me, ASICS. My favorite ASIC shoe is Meta Speed Sky, but my second favorite is Super Blast. Super Blast was really good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Super,
Super Blast.
Super Blast and the Nova.
We enjoyed the
Super
Nova
Blast was
Blast.
great.
Yeah.
Much better than like the Magic Speed. Even the new Magic Speed is really nice, but no, not better. I don't know. But one thing I could
Boot him now.
one thing I could say though that ASICS has a lot of shoes, right? But but if you were to take the Super Blast and then like for your everyday trainer, a lot of miles, and then you took the Magic Speed, the new one, which throw it like right in the middle for like some of those like faster tempo workouts, stuff like that, and then you had the Metaspeed Sky or the Edge. They had like a perfect lineup if you wanted to put them together like that.
I'm waiting to see what Aaron about to say because I know it's about to be some
Okay,
nonsense.
yeah, Aaron about to be crazy. So yeah, we got Aaron in the chat talking about hot take. Yeah, I don't think I have any other hot takes for you gentlemen, but I think that we should uh-oh.
This dude crazy, man.
What's that?
This dude crazy, bro.
I don't even
He
see it
said,
yet.
I'm gonna say it. Flying Spirit ain't that much cheaper.
Yes, it is.
That is not a hot take. Well, that's not even a hot take. It's not that much cheaper.
It is if you aren't taking luggage and stuff, but if you don't want to sit on the floor, then
right,
it starts to add up a little.
If you want a seat belt and you want to take
if you
your
don't
shoes
mind flying
on
to
the
the
plane
bottom with the cargo, then you straight.
I see what he's saying.
Right.
It's like when you disconnect, you cut the cord for cable, and you start buying all the apps.
Yeah.
That's what Aaron's trying to say.
I pay way more money right now on add-on apps than I did when I had cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of a sudden
I
like, dang. All right.
I got a hot take. There's literally no reason for it to ever be hotter than 70 degrees.
Where?
Ever.
Anywhere ever. So
Ever.
you got to move to San Diego. You would like San Diego or you'd like San Diego.
Yeah.
Is that San Diego?
It should never be colder than 40 or hotter than 70. That's the sweet spot of life.
No,
honestly, talk to the government. They're controlling this.
Talk to Al Gore.
Right.
Al Gore take care of it for us.
Yeah. No. But yeah. So these are some good hot takes. I feel like
because we can't live without them, right?
Wait,
They're pollinators.
where did they come from? So
They came from where?
Maurice,
Africa. What you mean? The motherland.
Maurice. Oh, they came
Like
with us.
everything. Probably.
We brought honeybees aren't native to America. Why do we care about them? I don't know, man.
That's crazy. He
I
calling the
don't know.
honeybees colonizers. That's crazy. They are
He
quite
called them
literally
fraud.
that though.
He called them fraudulent. That's crazy. I'm gonna look up this whole honeybee thing. I want to know where they came from. All right. So with that, we have some research. We got to figure out where these honeybees really came from. I'd love to do a hot take segment as much as possible because I think, or like every episode, we just do a little quick hot take segment. So next time, bring your hot takes. Be looking around the world as you move over these next 7 days. And if you got a hot take, don't get all feisty and hasty and drop it on the internet. Come to the show. Drop
This
your
is a
hot
safe
take.
space.
It's not a safe space at all. This is we will attack you if we think you're wrong, and hopefully
We'll attack you like a honeybee. No.
But all right.
Yeah.
Peace
Before
out,
we go,
guys. What's that?
This upcoming week, if you're in the Detroit area, this is the season anniversary week and season launch of We Run 3-on-3. We are back running on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can visit werun3on3.com. You can jump onto the Instagrams or the Facebooks or the Twitters and just look up We Run 3-on-3 for more info. We're back at it. Yeah, let's go. Let's have a good running season. We're looking to get the community out as much as possible. We're doing a shoe giveaway. If you want new shoes for the summer, we're doing a shoe giveaway on Thursday, right on the riverfront in downtown Detroit. So if you're in the area, pull up. We'll be out there.
Yeah, pull up. I'm gonna. I think that I can. One of these days, Thomas has a track meet, so I'm not sure. Hopefully, it's Wednesday, but I'm gonna try to make both days Tuesday and Thursday for sure. Can't wait. That's like the biggest energy of the year.
For sure.
That first week. Yep. So pull up if you're in the area. I'll be at one of those, if not both. And we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you tap into the podcast platform. Make sure you go subscribe. It's on the screen below. The PR Project Podcast on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Occasionally, just try to look for it on Apple. If Apple is your streaming platform, just search the name, the PR Project, and maybe you'll find it. If it doesn't look like our logo, it's not us. Okay.
You might click on it and they might start talking about stuff that we do not agree with.
There's if you don't see our faces, it's not us. Don't subscribe. Peace out, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Kendrick up 3-1.
3-1.